My wife cheated and called it progress. Her solution? An open marriage. I played along, smiled, and nodded. Then, while she flaunted her freedom, I gathered evidence, prepared the legal nuke, and exposed her to the very people who once admired her. She thought she was rewriting the rules, until I ended the game on my terms. There are phrases you never expect to hear over dinner. I love you. We're having a baby. Or in my case, I slept with someone, but I think an open marriage could fix us. Mara said it with the confidence of someone giving a TED Talk. Calm, composed, like this was some adult solution to a problem we both shared. We were at our dinner table. She looked me in the eye as if she hadn't just dropped a bomb on 8 years of marriage. She called it redefining love, said we'd lost the spark, that maybe this was the modern way forward. I stayed quiet. She kept going. You have to admit things haven't been passionate lately. We've grown apart. I nodded slowly. Before or after you slept with him? She flinched, just barely. But I saw it. That was the moment she realized I already knew. She tried to spin it. It was a mistake, but it helped me realize what we're missing. This can be a fresh start. No apology, just a pivot. She thought she could talk her way through this, wrap it in clean language and forward-thinking buzzwords. Honesty, freedom, adult choices, she said. You've been lying to me for months, I replied. How much more freedom do you need? She blinked. I didn't tell her about the hotel receipts, or the photo she thought was hidden in her phone, or that I'd tracked her flights to cities she'd never told me about. Instead, I asked calmly, "What's his name?" She looked away. That's not important. It is now. She sighed. Aaron. Of course. The colleague from that Denver off-site that wasn't in Denver. The same man she once told me was just a friend. Then she said the one thing that made everything click. I'm trying to save this marriage. No, I said. You're trying to keep your access to my silence, to the image you've built. You want to have it all and still have me smile in the background. She went quiet. I stood, cleared the table, and walked to the sink. My hands were steady. No yelling, no breakdown. That part of me had shut off. Something else had clicked on. Something cold, calculated, and clear. You really want openness? I asked, turning back to her. Then let's do it right. Total transparency. Phones, calendars, passwords, STI panels. Everything on the table. She laughed. It was forced. That's not what openness means. It's about trust. No, I said. Trust ended when you turned cheating into a lifestyle proposal. She stared at me. I saw something unfamiliar in her eyes. Fear, maybe. Not of me, of losing control. She was used to steering the narrative. But I wasn't arguing. I wasn't reacting. I was listening and planning. Give me the weekend, I said. I'll think about your model. She smiled, relieved. I knew you'd be reasonable. I kissed her forehead. Absolutely. Later that night, she played the same playlist she always used to calm herself down. Music she once told me helped her focus. I watched her scroll through her phone, texting someone, probably Aaron. I closed the door to my office and opened a new email. Subject, retainer request, divorce and discovery strategy. I typed my attorney's name. Attached the first few pieces of evidence, then added one final line. Proceed quietly. Assume she believes I'm considering an open marriage. I hit send, then I leaned back and smiled, because while she thought she was modernizing our marriage, I was already building the exit. The next morning, Mara greeted me like nothing had happened. She was upbeat, humming while making breakfast, as if we'd just agreed to take salsa classes, not detonate our marriage. She kissed my cheek and asked, "You'll think about it today, right?" I nodded. Yeah, I'll think about it. She smiled and went back to her eggs, her phone lighting up with messages she didn't bother to hide. The permission she thought she had emboldened her. Each time her screen lit up, I made mental notes, names, times, emojis. Aaron's name came up twice before she even sat down. While she showered, I updated my lawyer. Subject, timeline updates. Body, she's in open marriage mode. Gathering evidence is now easy. Can we speed up the financial separation and start drafting notice of intent? His reply was instant. Understood. Quiet proceedings initiated. Keep playing along. Final package ready in 10 to 12 days. That week, I started contacting the people she respected most. Not for gossip. Strategically. Her inner circle was tight, influential. If they were going to find out, it would be on my terms. First, I met with Dr. Ayana Patel, Mara's mentor, a professor who had championed her during grad school and wrote her startup board recommendation. We met for coffee. No small talk. I'm divorcing Mara, I told her. You deserve to know why. She looked confused, then concerned. I pulled out my phone and showed her messages. Mara, he's so predictable. He'll come around eventually, and in the meantime, I get what I need. Aaron, you're a goddess. He should thank me for keeping you satisfied. Ayana stared silent, then said, she told me this would bring you two closer. She sold it as growth, I said. It was betrayal in disguise. Ayana closed her eyes for a moment. I vouched for her. If this gets out, it will, I replied. From there, I moved methodically. Her co-founders had no idea she'd expense hotel stays with a man from a competing firm. Her parents thought I was the lucky one in the marriage. Her HR rep had no clue she was violating company policy, until I showed the Slack logs and calendar overlaps that proved otherwise. The evidence folder grew fast. Chat exports, hotel invoices, screenshots of her hidden albums, even video clips she thought were deleted. She was getting bolder. That same week, she told me she might be going to Bali. Aaron invited me, she said with a playful smirk. You're okay with that, right? It's not about love, it's freedom. I smiled. Actually, I might be seeing someone too. She raised an eyebrow. Really? In a way, I said, but I think I'll wait until things are finalized. That word, finalized, made her pause. What do you mean? I closed my laptop. You'll see. She laughed nervously. You're not mad at me, are you? I looked at her. Calm. No. I'm just watching the story you wrote. Then I walked out, leaving her standing there, trying to figure out if she was still in control. Meanwhile, I finished prepping the blast zone. Her lawyer was served a legal notice of financial separation. I started transferring our savings into a protected account under my name, under the advisement of my attorney. Legal, documented, untouchable. She was too distracted to notice, too busy feeling free. What she didn't realize was how wide the trap had already opened beneath her. The papers were delivered on a Thursday at exactly 9:47 a.m., the moment Mara was leading her team's strategy meeting. I didn't choose the time by accident. I knew her schedule, down to the minute. That morning, a private process server stepped into her office, interrupting mid-sentence with a discreet envelope. The document read, Dissolution of Marriage, Immediate Filing. Inside, full discovery, timeline, financial partitions, and a neatly tabbed appendix of evidence. It wasn't just a divorce, it was a complete narrative. I wasn't there to see her face, but Ayana was. She called me later that day. She tried to smile. Then her face just dropped. She didn't even finish the meeting, just walked out without saying a word. That same morning, the next phase began. A curated list of emails went out to specific people. Her parents, her board of directors, her closest friends, Aaron's wife. Each message had a neutral subject. Subject, in the interest of full transparency. Inside were screenshots, calendar mismatches, Slack conversations, expense reports. No anger, no commentary, just facts, just clarity. By noon, Mara's phone was going off nonstop. I watched it through our shared iCloud account. Her father called first, then her co-founder, then Aaron's wife, 3 times in a row. By 4 p.m., Mara's LinkedIn profile was gone. At 6 p.m., her startup's legal counsel released a statement confirming a pending internal investigation into financial and ethical misconduct. By 7:30, she showed up at my front door. She didn't knock, just stood there, stunned, drained, like the ground had shifted and she hadn't caught her footing. I opened the door, but didn't invite her in. She spoke softly. You don't understand how fast this is spiraling. I nodded. That's the thing about control. You don't notice you've lost it until someone else makes the final move. She stepped forward, but I didn't budge. They're calling me a fraud. Even my dad won't pick up. Because you lied to everyone, I said. You thought you were being progressive. You were just being reckless." Her voice cracked. "You said you'd think about the open marriage." "I did," I said. "But instead of opening our marriage, I opened your secrets." She broke down. "I thought you loved me." "I did," I said. "But now I love my peace more." I stepped back and closed the door. The next morning, her belongings were boxed, labeled, and placed neatly on the curb. No drama, no shouting, just quiet finality. On top of the last box was a short note. "This is what healing looks like. Enjoy your freedom." 3 days after the papers hit her desk, Mara resigned from her startup. The board didn't even need to complete the investigation. The financial trail was clear. Company cards used for romantic trips, vendor charges linked to fake conferences, and Slack messages that violated every internal conduct guideline. Her resignation was framed as a step toward personal recovery. The statement mentioned burnout, blurred boundaries, and misjudgments made during a time of emotional confusion. It didn't mention Aaron. It didn't mention me. But it didn't need to. Word had already spread. Her professional world moved fast. Investors distanced themselves. Speaking engagements were quietly canceled. Her leadership podcast stopped uploading new episodes. In a single week, the identity she'd curated began to collapse, one connection at a time. Her personal life unraveled just as quickly. Friends who once viewed me as an accessory now started reaching out, not out of loyalty, but shock. "Can't believe what she did to you. If you ever want to talk, you handled this with so much class." I didn't reply to most. The ones who laughed at her jokes about me, about how boring, predictable, or traditional I was, were suddenly empathetic. I didn't need their sympathy. I needed space and silence. I poured myself into work, doubled my client load, filled my schedule. The energy I once used to protect our marriage now went into rebuilding my own life. I started waking up early again, going to the gym, eating with intention, traveling solo. There was a strange calm in the routine. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't sad. I was focused. I moved into a new apartment. Nothing lavish, just clean, quiet, and mine. No shared closets, no hidden messages, no memories I didn't choose. Above my desk, I framed the first email I ever sent my lawyer, the one with the subject line, "Proceed quietly." Every time I passed it, I remembered what Mara said when she pitched the open marriage. This could make things fair. Fairness finally arrived, just not the way she imagined. 6 weeks after the divorce was finalized, I heard a knock at the door. I checked the peephole and immediately recognized the face. Disheveled, nervous. It was Aaron. I opened the door but didn't step aside. "I need to talk," he said. "You shouldn't be here." He ran a hand over his face. "I didn't think it would go this far. She told me you didn't care, that you were basically done. Did she also tell you she was funding your weekend getaways with her company card?" He looked down. "My wife left me. My firm suspended me. Mara's spiraling. She says this is all my fault." "Good," I said and shut the door. 2 weeks later, Mara sent me an email. Subject, closure. It was long, rambling. She said she wasn't asking for forgiveness, only a conversation. "If there's any part of you that still believes in what we had, can we talk? Just once?" I didn't answer. I forwarded it to my lawyer and archived it, because closure doesn't come from the people who hurt you. It comes from walking away before they get the chance to rewrite the story again. Mara thought she was evolving. That's the word she used. Evolving. She framed her betrayal as a pivot toward honesty, a deeper kind of love. She called me outdated, emotionally rigid. She mistook silence for weakness. She didn't understand that I wasn't avoiding confrontation. I was preparing resolution. She believed she could rewrite commitment to suit her convenience. But love isn't a business model. It doesn't improve with rebranding, and loyalty isn't a flaw. In the aftermath, I didn't chase revenge. I chose clarity. Everything I did was documented, legal, and timed with purpose. I didn't ruin her, I revealed her. The collapse was self-inflicted. She lost her company because she thought rules didn't apply to her. She lost her image because she confused charisma with character. She lost her allies because they saw what she really was when no one else was watching. And I gained something far more valuable than vindication. Peace. I stopped explaining myself. I stopped defending the quiet way I handled things. Some people said I should have fought back louder, made a scene, posted the truth online. But noise doesn't heal. Structure does. I learned that walking away doesn't mean surrender. It means choosing yourself when someone else makes you a second option. It means no longer accepting less because you once loved more. I've since rebuilt everything. New apartment, new circle, new rhythm. I don't talk about the past unless someone asks. And even then, I keep it brief. There's no pride in pain, just lessons. One of those lessons is this. If someone betrays you and then tries to make you feel guilty for noticing, they were never interested in healing. They were interested in control. The moment I stopped responding to her games was the moment I won. I never replied to Mara's last message, never followed up on Aaron's attempt at guilt, never tried to explain to her family why I chose to be silent all these years. They saw enough. Sometimes justice isn't loud, it's surgical. Sometimes the best revenge is no revenge at all. Just a life so calm, so steady, it makes the ones who tried to shake you feel irrelevant. And sometimes closure doesn't come in a conversation. It comes in realizing the people who wronged you are no longer part of your narrative. So if you're in something that feels off, something that makes you shrink, don't wait for the storm to pass. Build the exit, quietly, completely, and when you walk away, don't look back. Mara played games. I built my peace. That's the difference between surviving betrayal and conquering it.